Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gatorlight, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gatorlight hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
Running a small business means I wear lots of hats. When I put on my hiring hat, I can count on LinkedIn Hiring Pro to make it easy. LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps manage my hiring workflow, puts my job post in front of a unique network of professionals, and matches me with the best candidates for my business. I can also share my job with my network. No other job site lets me do that. No wonder most small businesses say they'd use LinkedIn Hiring Pro again. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
This message is brought to you by Apple Card. Shave ice by the beach. A trip to the state fair. And a throwback flick at the local drive-in. They're more than just items to check off the summer bucket list. They're also opportunities to earn 2% daily cash back when you use your Apple Card with Apple Pay. Apply for Apple Card now and use in-minutes with Apple Pay. Subject to credit approval. Apple Card is issued by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, Salt Lake City branch. Terms and more at applecard.com.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, happy Monday, episode 632 of Coach Unplugged. Before we get started today, I'd like to give a big shout out. We're going to talk to a collegiate assistant coach, Jack. I think this will be it's a two-parter today and tomorrow, so I think this will be a great one for our listeners. But before we jump into that, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market. Mention Coach Unplugged and they'll give you $350 off your next purchase. And for no other reason, geez, we live in a world where these phones are connected to the players' hands and they can use their phones to run the machine. There's a reason on its own. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Not only is it videos and handouts and office hours and one-on-one calls and videos and a community unlike any others, and my personal email address, it is a way for you to give back to Coach Unplugged. So go over and check that out. And let's head off to the podcast. All right, welcome to Coach Unplugged. Jack, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then we'll give a little background story. So the way I normally start this is it's very conversational, and you'll introduce yourself, give a little background of your basketball journey, and then I'll jump in and give a little bit of background for me on how we met, and then we'll go from there. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about your basketball journey for people that are listening?
All right, sounds great. I grew up in New Jersey, played high school ball in Jersey. Was never really the kind of athlete that was able to make a career playing college ball or go anywhere to play college ball, but I always wanted to go to the University of North Carolina. So I went down there and majored in business and tried out for the JV team, got cut a bunch of times. But when I was in grad school at Carolina, I was lucky enough to help out with the junior varsity team down there as a graduate assistant coach. After school, went to work in public accounting for 2 years and essentially got fired twice from 2 different places. So kind of had to figure out a different way to make a living and realized that that's kind of the kick that I needed to get back into basketball. So I called the guys at Carolina, and Hubert Davis was nice enough to put me in contact with my current head coach, Bill Robinson, who is at Milligan College. So I just finished my 3rd season at Milligan as an assistant coach, and it was the greatest move that I've ever made. So happy doing it.
So, yeah, so it's a door closed and another door open, basically, is what happened. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, it just I was not happy with doing what I was doing, and it was around March of 2016, I guess. I was sitting there like, all right, well, in the summer I'll look for a basketball job, but I'll just keep doing what I'm doing until then. And then I just kind of got brought into an office, and they fired me on the spot, and I was like, well, I guess I gotta have to figure out something different now. So.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I can't tell you how many stories like that I've heard about. You know, especially I don't know if it's Brad, somebody else that happened to, and it's like sometimes it's the kick you need to do something else.
Absolutely.
So explain the NAIA. Explain some of the stuff that you and I had talked about. Jack and I had met sitting at the NCAA final weekend, watching some really good basketball, to be honest with you. And we were sitting right next to each other. So explain to people kind of your school, the NAIA. I think there's a lot of people who don't understand the difference between NAIA and NCAA, and kind of, you know, what your responsibilities are being an assistant coach at that level.
Yeah, sure. The NAIA is just a different governing body for college athletics than the NCAA. It's got a different set of rules. That, you know, it doesn't work under the same umbrella. So there's no recruiting calendar for NAIA. We can talk to recruits from the time they're freshmen in high school to all the way to the time they're a senior. There's no contact, non-contact period, anything like that. But we will play NCAA schools. So I'm at Milligan College, which is a small Division II NAIA school in Johnson City, Tennessee.
So when you say small, how small, how many students go to Milligan?
About 800 undergrad and 1,200 if you count the grad students.
Okay.
So there's a lot of high schools out there that are bigger than Milligan College.
It's like half the size of the one I teach at. Yes. So it's small, relatively small. Yes.
Absolutely. But we will compete against some Division I NCAA teams. So we'll play UNC Asheville, Troy, William & Mary, App State, teams like that, Middle Tennessee State. We were actually Middle Tennessee State's first home game after they beat Michigan State in the tournament back in 2016, I guess that was. So we do play a high level of talent. It's just a different governing body. So we're in the Appalachian Athletic Conference. The NAIA has their own national tournament. There's 32 teams that get to go to the national tournament. Division I, 32 teams that get to go in Division II. And the NAIA is actually going to merge not next season, but the season after that, from 2 divisions down to 1. So it'll be a 64-team tournament after that.
Oh, it will be? Yeah. And is there a Division III in NAIA?
No, there's not. So there's only about 70 some odd teams in Division I, and there's about 155-ish teams in Division II. So that's kind of, I think, part of the reason that they're merging is that 32 teams out of 70-something making the tournament isn't really an accomplishment for Division I.
Right.
At the same time, if you add in the Division II teams, it becomes over 200 teams, and that boiled down to 64 is more of a better percentage, I guess, to make the postseason.
William & Mary's a gorgeous school. My son's looking at William & Mary to go to school. That's a great school.
It really is. My cousin's there right now, actually. He loves it.
It's really hard to get into unless you live there, I think. If you're out of state, I think it's even harder.
I applied when I was in high school, and they waitlisted me. So that
I remember seeing it. In my sweep, I definitely remember seeing it. All right, so good. So that's some background stuff. So let's talk some basketball stuff. This would be a lot more enjoyable for people to listen to. Do you have a coaching philosophy?
Well, I'm still pretty young relatively, so I kind of just mirror the guys that I've been with. So there's a lot of guys that have kind of helped me through the journey so far. I mean, I grew up playing for my dad, so that's kind of why that I even wanted to get into coaching, was that I wasn't just there to play. He taught me to think about the game differently.
Right.
I went to Carolina. Hubert Davis, like I said, was the head coach of the JV team while I was there. So that style, that kind of Carolina influence is there. And Coach Robinson has done Carolina camp since Coach Williams has been back from Kansas. So the last 13, 14, 15 years now. So there's that huge Carolina influence. But one of the things that, because we play such a variety of talent here at Milligan, we have to believe in variety and change. We can't do the Bob Knight, we're going to run the motion offense and we're going to play man-to-man and we're just going to be better than that than you are, because it's not going to happen. We play teams from Middle Tennessee State all the way down to Toccoa Falls Bible College. You can't play the same way against both of those teams and expect to be successful against both.
Or be competitive, let alone successful.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we just need to be able to do a bunch of different things and make it hard to prepare against us and be able to kind of control tempo. We want to be able to grind it out and play slower against William & Mary, but at the same time, if we're playing Johnson Bible College, we want to be able to push the pace and try to run a team out of the gym. So, I mean, it helps us when it comes down to our league play, because there's a lot of different styles within our league too.
And so this intrigues me, because I've had this issue with my teams too. So is there a way that how do you do that? How do you teach your players or coach your players to be able to do the multiple styles like that? Because that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, it's really hard, especially when you have a young team. When you have a young team, you got to spend a lot of time on the way you want things done. And we have 5 or 6 different sets, and we run a bunch of Carolina secondary stuff. And it's kind of like golf, where like sometimes some clubs are working and some clubs aren't working. And then you go to the course the next day and those other clubs are working, but the ones that were working yesterday aren't working today. And you just kind of have to like piece it together and try to figure out what's working on like a given day.
Right. And how do you spend a lot of time working on secondary break?
Oh, we spend a lot of time working on it. The timing and the way like Carolina runs it, Carolina doesn't need to call anything.
Right.
It's all done based on the movement of the trail guy and what his action is. But with the way we do it, we have to make a call because our guys grasp that concept yet.
Right.
So
you do it. Do you do everything? Again, this intrigues me, especially with high school kids when I try to do it. Does this do you do this all in the full court and you have different indicators depending on where the spot people go to the spot? Yeah.
So the way that we would want to do it and the way that we like to practice it is we'll have all 5 guys in the paint. We'll have the coach shoot a jump shot and they'll dummy offense, run it down to the other end. So if you have 15 guys, you do that with 3 teams. They all run the same thing. The third team gets to watch the first 2 teams do it. So they kind of have all right, this is where, if they don't know where I'm supposed to be, they kind of have an idea of, okay, I can just watch my guy on my side and figure out where I'm supposed to be. And we'll go down the other end, we'll shoot the jump shot, and they'll run back the other way and run a different play, run the different secondary action. So
okay. And how many secondary actions do you feel you're good at? Or how many do you feel like you can put in and things like that?
Well, we have 10 different calls for the secondaries, and then we have a zone secondary, so I guess 11.
Okay.
But the 10 man-to-man ones, they're in 2 different sets. So if we're in one set, we know that it's only going to be these 5 plays. And if we're in the other set, we know that it's only going to be these 5 plays that we're making calls off of, just in case it's hard to hear. Or if we say, all right, we're just going to run them in this order, first 5 times, go. The guys know which, we don't have to say anything, but at the same time, they know which call it should be that time down the floor. But we always want our wings to run down to the wings. We want our, big that doesn't get the rebound to run to the block and try to get that first look in the middle, and then our big that does get the rebound to trail. So the spots kind of fill in and spacing wise, even if we're not a team that has, like this year we had bigs to be able to run it, and it's very predicated on having a 4 and a 5 that are a distinct 4 and a 5.
And do they have to be a threat? Like does the trailer have to be able to shoot that 3?
He doesn't have to, just because the actions that happen after it, and there's a lot of things that 3-4 passes in, you're still running that secondary play, that he doesn't have to be a threat, but it certainly helps to be able to stretch that defense a little bit.
That's interesting. So kind of feeding off this, what is, are you the only assistant?
So we have 2 assistants on staff. One is full-time and one is part-time. So my first 2 years, I was the part-time guy. So that essentially meant that I was also working at a golf course in the morning, or I was working at a preschool just as like a teacher's aide in the morning to be able to kind of supplement myself a little bit. But this past year I got moved up to the full-time slot.
Well, I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. But before you hit pause, before you stop, we would love if you'd go over and leave a review, a 5-star one. Doesn't matter where you're listening to this, if it's Stitcher, if it's iTunes, if it's Acast, if it's Spotify, wherever it is, we would love a review if you could do that for us. Also, we would love if you went over and wanted to become a better coach, wanted to join our community. We are here to help you through this great thing called coaching, which has a lot of obstacles in it. But teachhoops.com is here to help. So go over and check that out. We'll become comrades in our coaching journey. So go over and check it out. All right, back to the podcast. Okay.
And just kind of been able to focus on basketball.
So what's your responsibility as an assistant coach at this level? Like what would be your job description? Like especially at practice.
So my philosophy really is just basically try to do anything that I can to make the head coach's life easier.
Right.
Trying to see anything that he could potentially see as a problem and fix the problem before it becomes a problem. But as far as like actual responsibilities go, I'm player development huge. So if anybody wants to be in the gym at any time, they call me and I can work out with them. Guys call me at 1 a.m, 2 a.m, be like, hey, I want to go shoot now, and have to get out of bed and go put on some shorts and a t-shirt and go over there and shoot with them.
Okay.
But it goes from that to scouting. The 2 assistants split up the scouting reports, and we'll every other game. We'll try to do every other game, and the head coach will oversee all of it. So we'll give him our report so if we play today and my scouting report is for the next game, as soon as that horn sounds and we get into the locker room, he talks to the team, and then I hand him the next scouting report so that he can read it on the van ride or the bus ride home. And then he can prepare his own. He has kind of a skeleton to go off of and what he's looking for and maybe he misses something. It'll be in there. Recruiting.
I love that. I always have my assistants working ahead of me too. So then, because it's hard you're juggling all that, but that's intriguing that works the same way. What about during the actual practice? You're just sitting back, or he hands you a practice plan? How does that work?
So a lot of coaches are different, and I've seen different styles where some head coaches essentially operate like a football coach would, and they have their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, and the head coach kind of hangs back and kind of manages. Coach Robinson's not like that. His practices are very much his practices.
Right.
We split it up where I'll work with the guards and the other assistant will work with the big men. When we do breakout stuff like that, we have defensive stations that we do a lot more in the beginning of the year than we do at the end. And I'm responsible for a third of the defensive stations. Coach Robinson will take a third. Coach will take a third. So the guys will be rotating between us. So I'll have the same 5 stations all year. We'll pick which one we're doing that day, and we'll go through. And we do our stations a lot more in the beginning of the year than we do at the end of the year. It's kind of like eating vegetables, where you do it when you have to, or when you're not doing something right, you get forced to do it.
That sounds familiar. Yes. Yes. It's like, oh crap, we're not hedging on that. Yes, all that stuff is so true. So how does recruiting work? Is that you going and finding the players and then coming back to him, or does he have this big swatch and then you go out and, ooh, I heard about this guy, go check him out? Or how does that work?
It can work both ways. The recruiting at our level is a lot different than the recruiting at the Division I level. We have to kind of evaluate anybody that ever wants to send us anything. We get 30 emails every day with kids trying to.
Really?
Hey, coach, I just want an opportunity, I was that kid, so I understand how it is. I understand what it's like. I'll watch every kid that sends me film. I'll reply to every kid that sends me film. But by and large, Coach Robinson's been doing it so long that he's got contacts everywhere. So he's got guys that look out for him and know what kind of talent that he needs and can be able to say, hey, you should look at this guy, you should look at that. We also have a junior varsity team here at Milligan.
Okay.
So a lot of my recruiting is basically finding kids for that junior varsity team. So I'll watch a lot of the local high school games in the area and try to find the best high school players in our East Tennessee, Western North Carolina area, give them opportunities to
fill them up. So let's say I'm a high school kid and I send you that, and then I decide, hey, I want to go to school there. But then I get in and I go. I can make a team probably.
Thing is that we don't have walk-on tryout here. So everybody that we have is on some kind of scholarship.
Okay.
Even our JV players, get something for playing basketball here. It's a different model in that respect. The NAIA Division II right now allows for 7 scholarships, whereas obviously Division I NCAA is 13. We have to spread those 7 amongst our team, our varsity team, and our JV average is set by the school. So we can give out JV money based on the average that the school allows us to give.
Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, and what do you look for in a recruit?
So our 4 pillars that we kind of pride ourselves on and the things that we look for when we're evaluating is, can you guard the ball? Can you keep it in front of you?
That's my favorite quote. You are who you can guard.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Coach Steve Robinson at North Carolina has a saying that, sometimes you just got to sit down and guard somebody. There's just no way around it. You just have to. Number 2 for us is, can you play without turning it over? Obviously a huge key. Number 3, can you shoot it? Steve Robinson quote, can't shoot, don't recruit. Becoming a different game now. I mean, it's just everybody's being able to shoot the basketball. So it's our stretch 4 is probably our best 3-point shooter by percentage this year. It's just a different game than it was even 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Really.
And then our 4th one is, can you play with a sense of urgency? And we have a sign in our locker room that has all 4 of those things on there. And it's the first thing the guys see when they walk in the door of the locker room.
And what was the first one?
Can you guard the basketball?
Can you guard the ball? Can you guard the ball? Can you not turn it over?
Play without turning it over. Can you shoot it? Can you play with a sense of urgency? So those four things are keys.
I think they are too. And so what happens when you get these 30 emails? What kind of tape do you like to see? Do you like to see game tape? Because I tell the kids highlight tape is useless because I can make you look like LeBron James in a highlight tape.
Well, see, we like highlight tape from the perspective of like we can tell within the first 5 plays that the kid puts on there if it's worth seeing more. And if it's worth seeing more, then we want to see a full game. We want to be able to see, all the misses, all the warts, everything like that. With the sheer volume of film we have, it would be impossible for us to watch a full game on every kid. So you get those where like he looks he's super athletic. He looks like a great talent on highlight tape. And then you get a full game and you're like, oh, he's not doing much for most of this game, So, or he's not playing any defense whatsoever. Important to see both sides of it, but we do like highlight film from the perspective of it's easiest to get through a lot of it and eliminate a lot of it.
And go fast. Yeah. That makes sense. I think the funny part is when they send you tape and they're not playing defense. That means that they think that's their good game.
Oh yeah. That's the other thing too, is that they're like, oh, hey, I had 27 this game. And like, yeah, you had 27, but the guy you're guarding had 29. So
that doesn't matter as much.
That math doesn't work out.
What do you find the hardest thing to teach at practice?
Probably defense. And we're a very good defensive team. We led the league in defensive field goal percentage and the fewest points per game this year. But it's a mentality more than anything else. And it's hard for kids, especially the ones coming out of high school. Coming out of high school, everybody was a rock star. Everybody that's playing in college was a rock star in high school. There wasn't the kid in high school that's, was the role player that's now playing for us and making a huge impact.
Right.
So it's very hard to get the kids that were scoring 25, 30 points a game to realize that doesn't matter to us right now. You have to sit down and you have to play defense, and you have to learn to play defense the way that we want you to play defense, which is probably different than the way you learned it in high school. Playing time obviously is a huge deterrent. And when you take a kid out for not playing defense, he starts to get the memo a little bit quicker than he does in practice. But you are what you preach. And you are what you generally start with. What you put first in your practice is going to be prioritized in their minds subconsciously more than what you put last. So if you spend the whole first half of practice working on your offensive stuff and then throw your defense in for 20 minutes at the end, they're going to think that it doesn't matter to you. It's kind of what we like to start with the transition drill and then go right into our defensive stuff.
And so that's a good lead into. So in your practice, how do you break up your practice? Like, is it 2 hours every day? And how do you compartmentalize? Do you do one thing at a time? Do you do break, defense, offense, specials? I mean, how do you guys normally break up your practice? That intrigues me.
It's different every day, and it's different at the beginning of the season than it is at the end of the season. We'll be a lot longer in length in practice at the beginning of the year. The NAI allows us to start practice on September 1st for the most part. It's 24 weeks from the conference tournament or what your last game would be. So go to that point on the calendar and then go backwards 24 weeks, and that's when you can start. So we started September 1st this past year, and that allows us, because we run a lot of stuff, it helps because it gives us 6 weeks to just put stuff in and have guys learn things that the Division I teams don't have when they start October 15th. Those first 6 weeks of practice, it's brutal because the guys will get tired of each other and they'll be tired of hitting each other. But at the same time, it's key for us because it helps us do that. We'll usually start practice every day. Our strength and conditioning coaches, who are master's and doctoral students at East Tennessee State, it's part of their program. They're not paid by our staff or our school, but they're doing it as part of their
it's like student teaching kind of thing. Yeah,
exactly. And we get some good guys. Some of the guys that went through Milligan as strength and conditioning coaches are now the strength and conditioning coach for basketball at Virginia Tech, strength and conditioning coach at Murray State. So
can you think of one coaching moment that would help another coach that's listening to this? Something that's happened, a game, a practice, a moment in your career?
Yeah. I mean, kids they're all different, and the mentality for a lot of them is different. We have a kid who's probably the most physically gifted athlete that I've ever seen. Division I caliber body, and he's still learning the game.
Right.
He's a shooter that, without thinking about it, could shoot it from 45 feet just consistently and just not have a problem. Just, he gets in his own little zone and he can get out there and he can make 25 threes in a row. but sometimes he gets in a game and he gets down on himself. And it's just one of those things where he falls into a rut and he can't get back out of it. And they notice how you feel about them. They notice your body language toward them. They notice every little thing that you say to them. So we were in conference tournament this year, first round of the conference tournament. But by that point of the year, you whittle your rotation down from 12 to 10 to 8. So we're playing about eight deep, and he's one of the top 8. But he's coming off the bench. He's our best pure shooter, but he's coming off the bench. He's 0 for his first 3, and he's coming to the bench. His head's hanging down. We come out after halftime, and he goes to check in, and I go over to him and I said, "You're the best shooter in this friggin' conference, and I just wish for one time in your life you believe me." And he just kind of looked at me and he walked on the floor and he hits his next 2 shots. And that helps us, that's obviously all him hitting the shots. I'm not taking credit for hitting the shots, but at the same time, stuff like that, as an assistant, it's really big to be able to just pump positivity into your guys.
Right. Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like. Make sure you leave a review down below. We really do appreciate those no matter where you listen. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I know you want to become a better basketball coach. And again, maybe you're done with podcasts, you're going shopping now, go down and click on our Amazon link and do some shopping. We would really appreciate that. All right. Have a great day.